Alright, CSE 112 class, this is the final part of our grade sheet, and it's just going over this last little section here where we just have to put the percentage, what percentage is assignments related to the total grade. And I actually have to turn that in. They want to know how much weight assignments are, projects are, final exam are, and how I figure that out. So even though it's just based on points, I figure out that percentage. So obviously I'm just adding up these points divided by the total to get that percentage. So I color coded it just to kind of see these cells a little bit better, and I'm going to have to add up these cells in a formula. So first of all, for assignments, I'm going to click in this cell and I'm going to type a formula. I'm going to put equals sum, and then in parentheses I'm going to put these cells B3 through K3. So I'm going to do B3 and use the colon through K3. And that's going to sum that up, and I'm going to close my parentheses so it takes the sum of that. Then I'm going to use my slash, forward slash, which is divided by, and I'm going to use this cell, which is R3. So I'm going to type in R3, and I don't have to use the absolute reference, those dollar signs, because I'm not going to copy and paste this. I'm just going to put in R3. So it's only 3 times I'm doing this. So I'll just type in R3 up in my formula, and that's all I have to do. And when I hit return, I should get a percentage showing up in there. Now, I already did this ahead of time, but I do have this formatted as a percentage. So if you're not seeing it, remember to use this percentage button. So for down here, I'm going to hit percentage, just in case I didn't. I don't know if I did or not. So I'm going to hit percentage. Now for this one, I'm going to do the same thing. Now you could copy and paste it and then just edit the values. I could do a Control-C and then go here and do a Control-V. And you can see it's updating the references. So I want to change this. I want to change that back to R3. And then now here I'm actually doing, I don't actually want these. And you could do this. You could actually just grab this thing and control your range, or you could type it in. You could grab this and actually highlight with the range, and there it puts L3 through P3. So it's taking the projects, which is in cell, the points are in L3 through P3. Ignore those P numbers, those are just the project numbers. So that's where that formula is coming out. I'm going to hit return, and it gets 57%. So, if you figured out the number, you could always just use the calculator to figure out the numbers. I mean, that's 200 divided by, I think that's 5 times 40. That's 200 divided by 350. It should be around 57%. So that sounds about right. And then the very last one I'm going to do here, and I'll go in this cell, and if you want to do if you want to highlight the first one again and do a Control-C to copy, and then go in this cell and do a Control-V, just make sure you update. Make sure you're talking about cell. You're always divided by cell R3, which is that total 350. But again, you're not putting in 350 because that number can change. And in terms of the range, I don't even have to put a range in here. I could just go. Matter of fact, I don't even need these parentheses. I should be able to just put in Q3. I don't want to put the number of 50. I want to put in Q3 because that's what my final exam is. So I'm going to put Q3, and I may have a problem here. I'm going to hit return and let's see what happens. And I do have a problem. The reason is it's not reading sum, so I just have to put this in parentheses. Now again, the other time I put the parentheses before it so that it's separated from the division, but here, we'll talk about order of operations. We're just dividing this by that. So if I hit return now that it has a parentheses after sum, because you can't just have a Q right after the word sum because it won't recognize that 3-letter kind of prefix there. So I'll hit return, and that comes up 14%, which is about right. That's about the way it'll be in here too. Actually, we'll have a lot more of assignments of what we do in class, this being one of them. So this is how we figured this out. Again, formulas where we're doing a little adding and dividing, and we're putting the addition in parentheses first, so it adds these up and then divides it, and it does that for all of these. And we're always using cell references. Notice we're not using numbers. We're not using whole numbers at all, because anytime these numbers can change, any of these numbers could change. I could add assignments to them. I could add projects. As I add these up, all the values will change and they'll update, and that's the power of Excel. It's called the recalculation that it'll constantly do. So again, that's pretty much the bulk of what we did for our grades sheet. Later we're going to do some charts and add some charts into this, but for now we'll stop. So I hope these videos helped you out a little bit.